or less. She put Ryan Anderson's personal medical information out there, that he's on mat therapy. She said a lot of things that could potentially cost him his job. Schmeiber BE'd him and threatened him, and once again, humiliated him. And I see clapback after clapback from GRD. She's even received multiple warnings from TikTok because of this behavior. Even her PO has talked to her regarding this behavior. So it's really hard to take anyone seriously when they've done the things that they're preaching against.
And I'm talking to you, Nina. I'm talking to you, Morbid. I'm talking to Ash Too Trippy. I'm talking to Conspiracy. I'm talking to every single creator that has ever made Gypsy content. Ask yourselves, do you really believe the stuff that y'all put out? Is it worth the temporary monetary gain that y'all get?
Gypsy Rose Blanchard is at it again, and this time, she's stepping into a role no one saw coming. She's calling herself a cyberbullying advocate. Yes, that Gypsy Rose. The same woman who spent years manipulating people from behind a screen, the one whose name became infamous after orchestrating her mother's murder with her then-boyfriend, who was mentally disabled. And now, fresh out of prison, barely a year into her second chance at life, she's rebranding herself as the voice of digital kindness. It would be almost laughable if it weren't so deeply unsettling. In her latest video, Gypsy delivers what she clearly thinks is a heartfelt message. She claims she's being unfairly targeted online, saying that people are sending false reports about her to her parole officer. She paints herself as a victim, harassed by strangers who won't let go of her past. But here's the thing, those reports? They're not false, they're real, and the receipts are out there. For starters, multiple people have come forward stating that Gypsy showed up uninvited to both the workplace and home of a creator named Ivory Rose Girls. That's not just bad behavior. That's intimidation. That's obsession. And under parole rules? That's dangerously close to stalking. And then there's the alcohol situation. She's not supposed to be anywhere near it, not at bars, not around parties, not even in a room where it's present, but photos and videos surfaced showing her right in those exact environments, just casually violating the terms she agreed to. And when people brought it up, she didn't own it. She downplayed it like it was just noise from the haters. But that's not even the worst of it. She was caught having direct communication with ex-convicts, people she's explicitly forbidden from speaking to. And when her messages leaked, she didn't admit to it. Instead, she threw out a tired excuse: her phone was hacked. Only that excuse wasn't even hers. Her friend Bree handed her that one, and she ran with it. Oh, and let's talk about the creator who got fired. There's a growing trail of claims from influencers who say that after calling Gypsy out, they suddenly faced backlash in their real lives. Some say she used her massive platform as a tool of revenge, letting her fans dig into their lives, harass their jobs, and create chaos. It's like she took the exact thing she claims to be against, cyberbullying, and flipped it into a personal defense strategy. But the most jaw-dropping part? Just days before uploading that polished, "I'm here to protect the internet" video, Gypsy was literally caught on live video talking to an underage boy. He clearly stated he was a minor. And what did Gypsy do? Nothing. No pause, no shock, no responsible adult behavior. She smiled. She kept talking. Her husband Ken was right there, and he didn't flinch either. And now, we're supposed to believe she's passionate about protecting kids online? Then she doubled down, saying her own future daughter won't be allowed on social media until she's at least 14. She romanticized the 90s as if she was out there playing hopscotch and riding her bike with a Walkman when, in reality, she barely lived that decade. It was also carefully curated, meant to paint her as a wise, changed woman.
And I'm talking to you, Nina. I'm talking to you, Morbid. I'm talking to Ash Too Trippy. I'm talking to Conspiracy. I'm talking to every single creator that has ever made Gypsy content. Ask yourselves, do you really believe the stuff that y'all put out? Is it worth the temporary monetary gain that y'all get?
At this point, when they call me the M-word,
this point, I'm like,
What?
okay, can you come up with something better?
What?
Because I've been being called that for years
Yeah,
and years
because
and
you've been
years.
doing it.
To my family, I'm not. To my friends, I'm not. I'm just Gypsy. To the people that love me and care about me, and I love them and care about them. To the general public, yes, I have a criminal history. Did I do the crime?
Not
Yes.
just a
Did I
criminal
do the
history.
time?
This
Yes.
was a big.
And now it's kind of like, move forward.
Ooh.
What else is there to do? Move
Let me
forward.
call Dee Dee and ask her to move forward.
There is nothing that's going to bring my mother back.
Say's internet and says she's tired of being called a murderer. And we need to come up with something better. Okay, babe. How about life sentence, lifestyle Barbie influencer? Or maybe true crime Barbie? Like, since you want a new label so bad, like you didn't co-produce your own Hulu documentary. Girl, you literally had your mom unalived. Ma'am, the reason why people call you that is because, you guessed it, you pled guilty to unaliving your mom. This isn't just a nickname we came up with in the group chat. It's literally what you did. What's next? You're tired of being called formerly incarcerated too? It's giving our one sympathy, but no accountability. You don't get to change a label that you pled guilty to. It's giving, I'm trying to be a rebrand queen. Then tell the people at Lifetime to forget that. Okay? You're not an algorithm update, sis. You're literally a whole Dateline episode with merch. You went from parole to PR in 60 seconds and now you're mad the world isn't calling you healing sunflower or mommy influencer in recovery? Girl, be serious. We would come up with something cuter, but unfortunately murder is still the top ranking 3 in your SEO. So until then, you're gonna have to sit with that name you earned, Bookie.
A protective mother figure. But that's not what the timeline shows. It gets worse. When a creator named Becca Scott spoke out against Gypsy, her close friends Bruce and Juma made a brutal, targeted video that exposed Becca's full name, workplace, personal relationship history, her address, and even the names of her children. That wasn't just messy. That was dangerous. It crossed every line. And Gypsy? She reposted it. Promoted it. Sent it out to her millions of followers without a single word of caution or regret. That's not a moment of bad judgment, that's a deliberate choice to put someone in harm's way. And she didn't stop there. Another creator, Ryan Hay, found himself dragged into the chaos when Gypsy shared his personal medical information online. Therapy details, health issues, everything that should have remained private was suddenly being treated like content. So now, the internet is asking, who is Gypsy really? Is she a woman learning from her past and evolving into someone new, or is this just another performance? Another manipulation dressed in soft lighting and careful captions? Because it's one thing to change. It's another to fake change while still playing the same dangerous games behind the scenes. The irony is deafening. Gypsy is preaching about grace and healing, while actively targeting and harming people who dare to question her. She wants sympathy, protection, and applause, but she's not giving accountability, remorse, or even honesty. She wants to clean up the internet, but she can't clean up her own behavior. And people are watching closely. This isn't just about bad press or influencer drama. This is about someone with a dangerous past, using her story for clout while repeating the same patterns she claims to have left behind. One day she's preaching kindness, the next she's stirring chaos and retaliating against critics. It's not growth, it's a calculated attempt to control the narrative. Let's talk about Ryan. This wasn't just some ex-fling she threw shade at. Ryan worked with children who have special needs, his job, his reputation, and literally the safety of the kids he supports were all on the line. And yet Gypsy, fully aware of all this, chose to expose him. She leaked his phone number. She shared their private messages. She even opened up about his therapy and personal medical info online. Not to protect herself. Not because she had to. But purely to shame and hurt him. And she didn't stop there. Ryan later revealed that strangers started texting him out of nowhere. Coincidence? Not likely. This wasn't just a messy breakup. This was targeted harassment. And it paints a chilling picture of someone who hasn't grown, they've just gotten sneakier. And if that wasn't bad enough, let's rewind to that Jazz Fest video, yes, that one. The one where Gypsy stares straight into the camera and says, "If you punch me once, I'll punch you 10 times harder." And no, she wasn't being poetic. This was an actual threat. A full-on warning shot. What's scary is that this came at a time when Ryan hadn't even said anything publicly about her.
Message of this video. I really want people to understand that just because you have an opinion and you don't like someone, it's totally okay to just keep it to yourself, and it's totally okay to have a voice as long as you keep it respectful. You could say to me or anyone else, you know what, I agree to disagree. Let's just agree to disagree. And that is 100% okay. What is not okay is calling someone out of their name, gossip, slander, lies. That is not okay. That's detrimental to someone's mental health. And at the end of the day, you just don't know how you are affecting someone's reputation, their livelihood, their the way their kids view them, the way their sister, brother, family members view them. It is 100% accountability on your part to make the first step. So you have that power. I have that power. We all have that power. Gossip and the amount of danger and damage that gossip can do on someone's reputation.
Gypsy, are you well? Because creators are just covering what you did. Your reputation is being a mommy murderer. That is your reputation. Being manipulative, being a liar, being a cheater, being someone that has babies on men that love them and marry them. Like, who's damaging your reputation, Gypsy? If you don't want people to talk about you, you're gonna have to go private. You're gonna have to have a private life. Maybe change your name.
He hadn't dragged her. He hadn't exposed her. He was silent. And yet here she was, already throwing punches. That's not defense, that's premeditated retaliation. And baby, the chaos didn't end there. Gypsy went full scorched earth on creators like Nina Morbid, Astro, and Copurity, naming them directly in her videos, accusing them of lying, profiting off her pain, and being obsessed with her life. But here's the kicker, they weren't lying. These creators brought receipts. Court transcripts, FOIA files, screenshots from Gypsy's own posts. This wasn't gossip. This was factual reporting. Meanwhile, Gypsy, who's made a literal living off twisting her own truth, had the audacity to accuse them of misinformation. Babe, the irony writes itself. Let's talk about her book, My Time to Stand. The emotional heart of that memoir was the story of her mother forcing her to use a wheelchair even though she didn't need it. That single claim was what made people cry, sympathize, even idolize her. But when you actually dig into those FOIA documents, things get real murky. Turns out, Gypsy herself told doctors she couldn't walk, even when she physically could. That changes everything. That flips the narrative on its head. And if that part isn't true, what else has she crafted for sympathy? That's not just a little lie. That's the foundation of her public image. Oh, and let's not forget Papaya Tran. Gypsy let the internet run wild with rumors that he was abusive. She never directly said it, but she left just enough breadcrumbs, cryptic posts, suggestive comments, to let people connect the dots. It created a whole new victim storyline for her to lean on. But when people actually looked into it, there was nothing. No evidence. No signs. Just whispers that grew into a narrative she never once corrected. That's not trauma processing. That's audience manipulation. Now here comes the part that's almost laughably ironic. Gypsy, in her new videos, keeps saying that people are being too harsh and judging her unfairly, especially now that she has a child. She insists she just wants to protect her daughter from the harshness of the internet.
And I just went over Gypsy's anti-bullying video. Now, Gyp, you say we bully you. We don't. We simply express our opinions of someone that overshares their entire life on social media, and we all come to an agreement that we do not want someone that unalived their own mom on social media being idolized. We don't want that. We don't want that for our society. We don't want that for our future generations. We don't want that to become the new acceptance. So if you think that's bullying, you might want to relook up bullying. Now, you get upset with us because we simply just don't want someone that chose to play God and mastermind the manipulation of unaliving her own mother while her mother slept, mind you. While her mother was very sickly and not doing well. You think that we're wrong for not wanting this to be acceptable? But we just think it's common sense that someone that used social media to hunt down someone to help unalive her mom for sausage fries. She did it to get laid, guys. She didn't do it because her mom was abusive. There's no proof that her mom was abusive. None whatsoever. In fact, all of her medical procedures were actually needed. But there is proof that Gypsy Rose Blanchard played God and took someone's life in their own hands and made the choice that this person must be unalived. That's what we don't want on here. That's what we don't want idolized, and that's what we don't want glorified. I'm sorry if it was so 10 years ago. You can say that statement. Your mom can't. Because again, you chose to play God. And that should never be idolized.
She says no one should be dragging an innocent baby through this mess, and honestly, that sounds fair, until you realize Gypsy's the only one putting her daughter in the spotlight. She's posting the bump pics, doing the baby name reveals, announcing shower themes, filming TikToks with her husband. It's all her. No one's dragging her daughter into the chaos. She's inviting the chaos in and making her baby part of the brand. And babe, the internet isn't stupid. People are concerned. Genuinely. Not because they hate her. Not because they're being cruel. But because they're watching a mother who's built an empire out of trauma continue to chase attention, even when she claims she wants peace. They see a child potentially growing up in the middle of constant online feuds, public lies, exposed relationships, and shady rebranding efforts, and they're worried. And instead of reflecting on that, Gypsy calls it bullying. But here's where things really take a dark turn, when she drops the M-word like it's some joke. She says it casually, like people are just making up labels to hurt her. But let's be real, she earned that label. She pled guilty. She spent years keeping that plan alive. Feeding lies. Controlling every little step until her mother was dead. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment tragedy. It was cold, calculated, and deliberate. And yet here she is now, trying to distance herself from it like it was a misunderstanding. Meanwhile, Nick, the man she manipulated, is spending life in prison. And instead of showing the tiniest sliver of remorse for how she used and discarded him, she calls him a psycho. Like she had no part in it. In her latest video, Gypsy tried to wrap it up all sweet and wholesome, saying she's determined to raise her daughter to always do the right thing, no matter the cost. Sounds touching, like a scene ripped straight from the final act of a redemption movie. But let's be honest, if you've been paying attention, that line hit more like the punchline of a bad joke. Because Gypsy preaching about morals? After everything? That's a plot twist nobody's buying. Let's break it down, shall we? If Gypsy really wanted to do the right thing, she'd start with herself. But instead, she's out here slapping advocate stickers on her videos while her own behavior is a walking contradiction. She's been caught sharing private DMs, doxing people, and letting her so-called friends drag creators through the mud, all while sitting on her platform pretending to be the face of online kindness. And somehow, she still wants applause? You can't claim to be healing the internet while you're the one lighting the match behind the scenes. And get this, one of the most jaw-dropping moments didn't even come from the video itself. It was in the comment section. A fan called her out directly, asking why she and Hisako had been posting AI-generated memes mocking other creators' looks. Which, let's be real, totally goes against her whole "stop the hate" agenda. So how did Gypsy respond?
And I'm talking to you, Nina. I'm talking to you, Morbid. I'm talking to Ash Too Trippy. I'm talking to Conspiracy. I'm talking to every single creator that has ever made Gypsy content. Ask yourselves, do you really believe the stuff that y'all put out? Is it worth the temporary monetary gain that y'all get? At this point, when they call me the M-word, at this point I'm like,
What?
okay, can you come up with something better?
What?
Because I've been being called that for years
Yeah,
and years
because
and
you've
years.
been doing it.
To my family, I'm not. To my friends, I'm not. I'm just Gypsy. To the people that love me and care about me, and I love them and care about them. To the general public, yes, I have a criminal history. Did I do the crime?
Not
Yes.
just a
Did I
criminal
do the
history.
time?
This
Yes.
was a big one.
And now it's kind of like, move forward.
Ooh.
What else is there to do?
Okay.
Move
Let me
forward.
call Dee and ask her to move forward.
There is nothing that's going to bring my mother back.
States internet and says she's tired of being called a murderer. And we need to come up with something better. Okay, babe, how about life sentence, lifestyle Barbie influencer? Or maybe true crime Barbie? Like, since you want a new label so bad, like you didn't co-produce your own Hulu documentary. Girl, you literally had your mom unalived. Ma'am, the reason why people call you that is because, you guessed it, you pled guilty to unaliving your mom. This isn't just a nickname we came up with in the group chat. It's literally what you did. What's next? You're tired of being called formerly incarcerated too? It's giving everyone sympathy, but no accountability. You don't get to change a label that you pled guilty to. It's giving, I'm trying to be a rebrand queen. Then tell the people at Lifetime to forget that. Okay? You're not an algorithm update, sis. You're literally a whole Dateline episode with merch. You went from parole to PR in 60 seconds, and now you're mad the world isn't calling you healing sunflower or mommy influencer in recovery? Girl, be serious. We would come up with something cuter, but unfortunately, murder is still the top ranking 3 in your SEO. So until then, you're gonna have to sit with that name you earned, Bookie.
I never did that. If my friends did, that's on them. Boom. Just like that, she tossed her own crew under the bus with no hesitation. No apology. No explanation. No shame. She played the "that's not my problem" card and moved on like it was nothing. Girl, what happened to accountability? Because let's not pretend this behavior is new. Her inner circle has been throwing digital punches for months now, burner accounts, mean-spirited memes, racist remarks, and full-on harassment campaigns. And what has Gypsy done about it? Absolutely nothing. Not a single public statement. Not even a warning to her fans. She only started distancing herself when the backlash started sizzling like grease on a hot pan. And now comes the million-dollar question, babe, is Gypsy really trying to clean up the internet? Or is she just trying to control the narrative? Because when the cameras are off and the ring light dims, what's left? A woman who talks about protecting her daughter from online hate while creating the very chaos that could swallow that child whole. And instead of stepping back, focusing on real-life healing, and maybe, just maybe, leaving the internet alone for a while. Gypsy is doubling down. She's chasing sympathy, not solutions. She's out here performing growth, not living it. And let's not forget the way she casually shrugs off the M-word, murderer, like it's just some random insult thrown her way. Babe, that wasn't name-calling. That was a legal charge. A guilty plea. A calculated act, not a childish mistake. And while she wants us to believe she's evolved into a better person, she's still using the same old tactics: spin, deflect, and play the victim. She wants to be seen as a loving mom now, a protector, a role model. But how can she teach her daughter to do the right thing when she still refuses to face what she's done wrong? This isn't just a messy social media moment. This is a full-blown plot twist in the Gypsy Rose rebrand saga. And if this is her big redemption arc? Babe, the script needs a rewrite. Stay tuned. Because something tells me this tea is still steeping.